Today's topic again is story based on the text Story by Robert McKee, but today we'll be focusing on the second level of story in a film, or any medium really, as the function of story moves us from point A to point Z in any kind of human communication or sharing of ideas. And that's what we're doing, humans, that is. So keeping with story structure, hearken to the 5 W's. We will begin with where. The setting is important to the beginning of your story. As an artist, you may decide to let this aspect evolve with your story, but for the sake of guidelines, let's just say you need to have a place first before you have characters. So think about the characters who will be in this scenery and create a place, either real or constructed, for the action and relationships of your characters to be placed in. In addition to place, you need to decide when and time and what the social, economic, psychological, etc. circumstances of this place are, because it will affect your characters. Circumstance leads us right into mood. Do you want to attach a mood to your world, your setting? Depending on what you're trying to say about your material, you may or may not want to set a mood to the production as a whole. But if you do, remember, your film is a whole piece and the flow of the mood shouldn't reflect something ingenuine. That's just bad filmmaking. Let's look now at the who of a script. You'll need to create some characters, which is arguably the most important aspect of a script. Characters can be either round or flat, that is to say, more like the multifaceted personalities you've gotten to know in your life, or they can be flat, like the archetypal characters in the plays of Greek antiquity. They may be static, which is a character who goes through the entirety of a story without experiencing any sort of revelation or interchange, and they may be dynamic, which is just the opposite. The character experiences a shift in their behaviors or ideals, they learn a lesson, they change in some way, for better or worse. Many, and even most stories, have a protagonist and an antagonist, that is to say, a hero and a villain. Sometimes they are one and the same. You can psychoanalyze why this may be, the juxtaposition of a hero and a villain, and attempt to create a story without labeling them so, or you can leave the viewer without the moral decision to decide which is which. But even without the rigorous character psychoanalysis, you still want memorable characters, and you achieve this mostly through dialogue. Just as a novel writer has a distinct voice, so does each character in your story, from their dialect and particular phraseology to the ideals they stand for. An involved character study is imperative to creating memorable characters and pertinent dialogue. However, you will not always want to move your story along with dialogue. Your characters can banter all day, but you're going to need some action to send them on their way into your story. Action is written in a script in a specific format we will discuss momentarily. The actions can be intentional or accidental, and you may not allow the viewer to know which is which until a later scene. What's important is that you keep turning the tables on the characters, from gain to loss, rags to riches, life to death, death to life. This will happen on a small scale in each scene, on a larger scale in each sequence of scenes, a larger scale still in each act of sequences, of which there are usually 3 acts in a full-length movie, and in total over the progression of your entire story. For film, you may have specific metaphorical shots to represent the ideas and themes in your story, or you may just want to draw focus to a particular person or action in the rhythm of your tale. These are some shorthand ways to indicate where shots change and what will be filling the frame. This is a sample script written in the proper screenplay format. When you are writing your own screenplay, study a model such as this to see how action, character, dialogue, and other aspects of a film are written into the format. Celtics is a free software that auto-formats your screenplay as you write. This doesn't mean you get to drop out of screenplay study. You won't understand the program if you've never read a screenplay. But if you have a basis, this program will help you save a lot of time worrying about how things are written and where they go. When you're creating a script, if you plan to film it in addition to writing, you'll want to go ahead and manage your script into departments. Consider color-coding the departments as seen here. This will help you organize your departments and know what physical items, permissions, equipment, and other considerations you'll need to make before going out with your camera and actors and realizing your script called for a pomegranate and there are none in sight, and worse, none in season. This concludes Story 2, Scripting Techniques. Good luck and happy screenwriting.